Hello and welcome to Informed Entrepreneur Magazine. And today's interview is with Farron, who's the owner of Hoffman Archery in Warrenton, Virginia. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good to see you. I'm excited about this interview because I actually bought a bow here at the shop, and I haven't got a deer yet. And he promised me that when I bought that bow, I would get a deer before I died. So I guess there's still some time. So thank you for that.
You got a couple more years still.
Yeah, I got plenty of time. Let's start out with just your background. You know, where'd you come from? You know, what maybe got you started thinking about business?
All right. Well, I'm originally from West Virginia, and I went to school there, college there, and what got me started in archery, in particular, more than business, was my grandmother. When I was 12 years old, my grandmother brought home about 6 different bows, for long bows, recurves, for my brothers and I. And we.
Now, where did she get these bows?
She had picked them up somewhere. Don't know exactly where she got them from.
She shows up with a bunch of bows at the house.
And she thought that would be good fun for us young boys. So I'm the oldest of 3, so I got the pick and got to shoot a lot more than the other boys, and just enjoyed it and just continued with shooting every year. First compound bow I bought in 1986, and just like I said, I learned to tune. There we didn't have the pro shops that we have up here, so you had to do a little bit more on your own. And I had some friends and relatives that were into archery, and they brought me along, and I really loved shooting. And eventually, I'm from a hunting family, and eventually the guns went away, and it was replaced by just bows for me and one of my brothers. The other one still shoots a gun.
Excellent.
And then business-wise, I'm trying to think. We went. We have a couple other businesses that we own, and
what are those businesses?
We own an insurance agency,
okay,
and my wife and I do. We also have some real estate that we lease out.
I see.
And my family, my dad was a self-employed businessman,
mm-hmm.
and we just learned that's how you do it. You don't go to work for others, and that brings me to here.
Excellent. Okay, but initially you had this love of archery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and by the way, tell us what a compound bow is for those who may not be informed. And you only sell compound bows, I think, right?
No, we do compounds, we do recurves, long bows, crossbows. The difference between a long bow and or a stick bow, we call it, would be it's all made of wood or a laminate, and it's very simple. You have wood with a string, and it's more what the Indians used to use. What the like we have English longbows, which back in Robin Hood's days, if you've seen any of the old movies, you'll see longbows.
It'd be like 5-6 feet long.
6 to 7 foot for the longbows. Recurves are shorter. Traditionally, between 52 and 62 inches would be a recurve,
mm-hmm.
Depending upon the person's height. And the reason for the recurve was more mobility. A long bow, if it's 7 foot long, is kind of hard to get around in.
Yeah.
So the Indians, in order to and not just Indians, but Genghis Khan and his group, they used a Mongolian horse bow.
Okay.
And so what you had was just these variations of bows. Archery's been around forever. The Bible talks about it. And so you have all these different bows. You have long bows, recurves, short ones. And back in the early 70s, they started with compounds, which what that is
one right here.
more,
right?
yes. What you have is cam, wheels, more than just a stick and string. It's made of aluminum. Then it has a different set of limbs. This is the latest and greatest for 2013. This one is from Matthews. It's called the Matthews Creed, and it's got a 1 cam bow. There's variations. There's 2 cams. There's There's bows that have the string and cable going inside the riser. So it's just every manufacturer makes something a little bit different.
Right. Is it true that whenever you're interviewed for something like I'm doing, you give a huge discount for one of these?
Oh, sure. Yes.
That'd be nice. Now, when you first started business, I mean, how did you do it? Did you just take some savings, or did you mortgage your house like some people do? How did you actually start?
We were a little bit different. We had the other businesses, and what I did was I used to shoot competitively, and so I went to the owner of the shop that I shot for, and started working for him, just part-time, and then it became more of a hobby, and I would come in and help out, and eventually he was ready to retire and move on, and so I actually bought the business from him. And yes, I had to mortgage my house to do it, and mortgage my entire future and the children's future and everything else. But what we did was, and that's the reason for the name Hoffman Archery, with my last name being Moss. We just left the name the same. But
was it this location?
It was this location.
Oh, outstanding. Right. This is a very quaint building. You can't miss it driving along 29 in Warrenton.
I think this is its 100th year in existence. So the building's right at 100 years old. It serves its purpose.
It's been archery for some portion of that.
About the last 14 years at this location, it's been archery. It's been multiple things through the 100 years. Okay.
Is your insurance in the same building?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know those were related. I might ask you a couple questions about that. Is that something you and your wife run, or is that other relatives?
No, we run it. However, I hire out most of the work. I still do all the bills and meet and greet clients, but more of the data processing is hired out.
Okay, so you stay pretty busy.
Yes.
And I think you told me that even though archery is something you really love and you love to do, that you don't get a lot of chance to do it anymore.
Correct. It is a great passion. I love it. I got into it because I loved hunting.
Yes.
And now I love archery. I love hunting. I can shoot, but I never hardly get a chance to go hunting because during hunting season, I'm in here.
Yeah,
we're busy. So our busy time is taken up with.
Do you have a son?
I have 4 children.
Okay, and is one of them getting old enough they can start learning so you can get some time off?
They all learn. They all shoot. My wife shoots. We shoot as a family. We travel together. They're still a little. The 2 oldest are girls. I got a 12, a 10, an 8, and a 6.
Okay. So
they
retirement,
all shoot,
so at
but
10 years off still.
Yes, I'm still a long ways off before I get a break.
Now, when you first started out, it was just you doing this, or did you have employees right off the bat?
I actually took one of the former employees of the original owner, Hoffman Archery, and he stayed on for about a year until he got sick.
Okay.
And then it was myself and my brother. I brought my brother up, and he worked with me. So it was a family business for 4 years until my brother got a paying job, and now it's me, Carl, Bill. There's about 4 or 5 different people that come in and help out. And what we've done is we've created a shooting staff. We've got a lot of target archers in this area. And so what the target archers do is they come in, they get their gear, we supply them. We don't 100% give that to them, but they get deep discounts. But they are required to represent the shop a certain way and spend some time in here so that we can train them on how to set up the bow, because it's not all about just shooting. We want them to be able to teach others.
Tune the bow, that sort of thing. Yeah. There's some background music that's come on all of a sudden. So you mortgaged your house. How many years was it till you actually began to be able to pay yourself back a little bit?
About year 7.
Wow. Yeah. Usually 3 to 5. So you were
we
out
were
doing
building
other
up the
things.
inventory.
Yeah.
That's what the inventory used to be. We used to have about $45,000 to $50,000, and it would fluctuate between seasons. Obviously, archery is a seasonal business because of the hunting season. So what the previous owner would do is he would lower the inventory in the off season to maybe 25,000, and then raise it up to 50 during the hunting season. What we decided was we want to make this year round,
Okay.
not just seasonal. So we built
Because
up
you
the
can target
inventory.
shoot anytime.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we have target archery. We've got hunting bows. We've got recurves. We've got long bows. We've got everything. And so what we're trying to do is just stay busier throughout the entire year instead of just having 3 months where it's total chaos in
Yes.
there. We stay busier
Okay.
throughout the whole year. And in order to do that, you had to build up the inventory. And so those first 5-6 years, we were building up the inventory to now we have in stock over 200 bows at any time. So
And these bows are not inexpensive bows for the most
No.
part. And Matthews bows are reputedly, the best bows in the world, so that they don't come cheap.
Right, they don't come cheap. Each bow that we have in stock, we also have the accessories to go on it, the arrows to shoot, the releases, everything that is needed. And in order to do that, the inventory is between $200,000 and $250,000.
Okay.
At most times now.
Got a good security system, I hope, in
Yes.
this building.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess so. What would you say was the most difficult thing about being in business as you developed up to this point? What has been the biggest struggle you've had?
Inventory management.
That's right.
Being able to get product in and pay for that product in a timely fashion. I don't ever want to be late on bills, but inventory management's very difficult.
In other words, having the right inventory for the right number of sales, keeping things current, that must be a
Right.
real issue.
Every year with archery, it's kind of like computers. A 3-year-old bow, in most people's eyes, not a true archer, but in the majority of people,
Yeah.
that bow's next to nothing now.
Really?
It's kind of like buying a cell phone. In a couple of years,
Because the technology is
the
moving.
technology has moved so much further forward that it doesn't render the old ones useless, but or obsolete. But most people want to try to keep up with the Joneses and shoot.
The new ones
latest
are always
and greatest.
prettier and have
Yeah.
beautiful wood. And
They're lighter, they're faster, they're more efficient. That's
Yeah.
one of the biggest things is the efficiency of the Matthews or the newer bows are just 20% more efficient than the ones 10 years ago.
right. And so you handle just Matthews bows, actually, and the Mission bows, which are
We actually have a couple different lines
Okay.
because we picked up Bowtech this past year. The Matthews is the main line, and Matthews has a sub company called Mission, which we really love because the Matthews line is fairly expensive, not only to us but to the end user.
I mean, a top quality Matthews bow. Equipped.
Equipped is going to leave somewhere around $1,300 to $1,400.
Okay.
Which is a mortgage payment for most people in
Yep.
this area.
Yep.
So it is a big purchase.
Right.
Whereas the Mission line is it's kind of like Chevy and GMC. They're both bows. They're both made in the same place, but Mission offers the bow at a deep discount because there's not all the bells and whistles that you would see on the Matthews line. A very well thought out bow, though. We've got them to where they adjust from 10 pounds up to 70 in the same bow, so we can put a young teenager
nice.
into a bow, and it's the
Right
last
with him.
bow mom and dad ever have to buy him.
Right.
And those are a lot more affordable, about half the price, maybe even a third of the price of the Matthews line setup.
Wow. Now, I asked you about the most difficult thing. What's been the best thing about being in your business or your business is? What's been the best thing? Because we didn't mention the insurance. What was the worst thing about the insurance business? What's the hardest thing?
Dealing with different companies
Right.
is on the insurance, and it's with insurance. No one's ever at fault at
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
With archery, it's always our fault. If somebody misses a shot, it's always our fault. So it comes back to us. Or if somebody buys a bow and then doesn't get a deer that year, it somehow comes back to bite us during an interview.
I'm still angry at you about that because you promised the first season I would probably get one. But anyway, okay, so what's been the best thing about being in business?
Best things as far as the archery is definitely relationships. I've met people that I never would have met otherwise had I not been in this business. There is a side to where you have to deal with the public, but 99% of the public is very easy to please and very easy to work with, and it's a joy. And then building relationships with people that come in, our shooting staff, I love that. It's been a true blessing to be a part of this.
all you need is a little bit of time to go hunt with a bow once in a while.
Yes.
You'd be great, right?
Every once in a while. And I do have customers that will ask, but it's kind of hard to break away. I was asked 3 days ago, I was asked to go to Africa on a safari.
Really?
They were going to pay my expenses, but...
And you're not going?
I'm not going.
You need to have a chat.
Yeah, I would love to do it,
yeah,
but that's an awful lot for me to ask somebody to cover for me.
Yeah.
And I never want to have someone else pay my way. I would rather do it myself,
yeah.
But it's just timing. It wouldn't have worked out for me this year.
Well, you're a better man than me. I'd be happy to accept someone to pay my way or something like that. Just personality change, I guess. Okay, so 2 last things. Number 1, give 1 tip to other business owners would be your main tip about being in business, being successful, because you obviously are successful. 1 tip, and then share with all the details with details about your business. In other words, name of it, location, website, or whatever. Those 2 things.
Pay attention to details. Pay your bills. Watch your inventory. That would be some of the keys. And have a positive attitude. Over the last 3 years, we've seen growth of roughly 25 to 30% each year.
Right. Even in this economy.
Even in this economy. And
people just want to go out and shoot something, I
guess. And when I talk to other shops, they're struggling. And it really boils down to the attitude of the people behind the counter.
Yeah.
If you have a bad attitude, then it will infect those that come in the shop.
Yes.
So you have to have a positive attitude, a positive outlook. The sky is not falling.
Yeah. And it's good. You seem to have employees that love this also, so it makes them have a positive attitude about being here, obviously.
Everybody in here has to have a passion.
And your dad said what about being in business? He said...
Dad told me, he said, do what you enjoy, and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Right.
He was mostly right. There are days that you do have to work.
True.
And it is work. There's a little bit of work every day.
Yeah, of course.
But it's a fun work.
Yes.
We could be out digging ditches or doing something else. And
or not having a job.
Or not having a job.
Right.
Whereas the one sort of disadvantage to being a self-employed person is you must realize that everything's on your back.
Yes.
I have 4 children.
Yes.
In order for them to eat, to go to college, you've got to put money away. You've got to have a retirement. You've got to manage your own money.
Does taxes come in there at all in this scenario?
There's
a few of those.
There is this company or this organization called the IRS that you have to deal with.
Plus the state.
And the state.
Plus employment. Plus sales. Plus.
So know your accountant and take him to dinner every once in a while. It's a good thing to take out your accounnt.
Keep you happy and happy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, details about how they find you, phone number, address, and website.
Okay. It's Hoffman Archery. The address is 5185 Lee Highway, Warrenton, Virginia. We are about 4 miles north of Warrenton on Route 29, about 6 miles south of Gainesville on Route 29. We're in the northern part of Fauquier County, right outside of Prince William, right outside of just a few miles from Loudon and Fairfax. So we're in a really good area here. Our website is Hoffman Archery or hoffmanarchery.com, and you can reach us via email at hoffmanarchery@comcast.net. Our phone number is 540-349-1631. And what we would say is come down and see us. If you've not shot, it's a wonderful thing just to relieve some stress. A lot of our customers do that. They don't hunt. They don't shoot targets or target archery, but they just like having some exercise to do that's not boring, ho-hum, same thing every other day. So they come in, they get a bow, and they enjoy it.
Yes, and it's physical, it's aesthetic, it's really a pleasure. I mean, I enjoy getting to shoot mine whenever I'm able to. Farron, it's been a pleasure interviewing you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today in Informed Entrepreneur Magazine, and Farron Moss from Hoffman Archery.
Thank you. Hi, it's me, Farron again. I have one thing to add Otherwise, I'm going to have a little domestic trouble on the home front. During the interview, I was asked if my children shoot or if my children help. Yes, they do help. Yes, they do shoot. As a matter of fact, my 8-year-old got his first deer this year with a bow. Beautiful shot. And we got millions of pictures of him with it. But I just wanted to add that my little boy Seth got his first deer and did it with a bow and did a great job with it. Thank you.